Greetings, Actives family. It's great to be with all of you today. Welcome to the March Founders Zoom. I'm joined here, as always, with my partner, David Brown, and hope you are all having a wonderful month of March. Happy March 15th. David and I do this the same time, same place every single month. And for all of you who are new, and I know many are new each and every month, we like to talk a little bit about some of our highlights from the previous month, what we liked about it, where we're going, and a little bit give you a little sneak peek for where we're going. So let's go ahead and get into this. David, how are you? Happy 15th of March. Happy March. March Madness here at ACTIVZ. What's going on?
That's a good term. There's a lot of March Madness. I'm a big basketball fan, and so I like that. But I think it applies to us here at ACTIVZ. From the month of February, actually, this whole year has been pretty mad, not in a bad sense, but in a very busy, productive sense. We often talk about how, is the weather in March going to come in like a lion or a lamb? Well, I can say that we went out in February totally like a lion, and we started March like a lion. ACTIVZ is roaring, baby, and it's been great. So that's been exciting to see. We had an extra day in February, a leap day for leap year, and it was kind of exciting that people took advantage of that. And basically on a daily basis, in terms of overall sales and revenue and how we did in February, even that despite having an extra day, I think on a daily basis, it may have been perhaps our best month ever in terms of what people were doing every day and not letting a day go by without taking the opportunity to build their business. So that was exciting. And that's continued on now into March. And here we are halfway through. I think it's a sign of getting older that we talk about almost incessantly how fast time goes by. But it really does. It goes by fast. But what's exciting is that we've already had some really exciting things that we'll talk more about just in the first half of March. And everything's great at ACTIVZ, and we're looking forward to new stories and new exciting things. There's a lot of things on the horizon, but man, so far so good. It's been great.
Absolutely. That's an interesting point what you brought up about February. I'll say that it was exciting this morning. We log into, I know that you and I are the same in this. We like to see where we're going every single day. We're kind of watching the numbers of the company, watching the different teams, who's growing, who's doing what. But it's always exciting to log in and see that we're up about 17% over the same day of the previous month. So kudos to everybody on this Zoom. We're going to have an incredible March. February was exciting, and we did have a leap year. So, we'll wait another 4 years and we'll have, 29 days. That was interesting. One of the highlights for me really I'll just say this, highlights for me, and I think you probably share some of these highlights, was not necessarily February, but we did a lot of preparation in February to kick off our active schools down in Mexico. And for all of you who are watching this, we're shifting gears a little bit in the company as we scale and get bigger. Many of you know that we doubled in size last year. We grew by 106% 2023 over 2022. And we looked at what we did that worked. We looked at things that we when I say shift gears, we're prioritizing loyalty in the form of auto ship. We're prioritizing, just doing things that are within your reach and getting rewarded for that. So many of you, if not all of you, know about our our Momentum Escape trips, which have been a lot of fun, both in the United States and in Mexico. And we've even done some down for our Global Connect markets. That was really successful this last year. So we're looking in January and in February, we've been kind of retooling some things, saying, how can we do that even better, right? And so we said, well, look, our big global events, we call them national events, but they're really international events. Everybody's welcome to attend those. We hold them in our largest market, which is Mexico. It's where we launched the company, and it continues to be our largest market. But we concluded also that we need to get with people more frequently. We need to get with the masses more than just 2 times a year. And so we decided that we're moving forward. We're going to do that 4 times a year. Now, obviously 2024, we already have plans and some other things scheduled. So this is really a transition year for us. For me, a highlight looking backwards a little bit with David was us deciding, okay, let's go out because we're not going to get everybody together in the same room, 1,000+ people. Let's travel out and go to some of these in-person schools that are happening. You traveled out, I traveled out, Francisco traveled out, Colton Smith traveled out, Jessica traveled out, Ian traveled out with you. And it was great because our goal was to get in front of more than 1,000 people, right? Which is roughly the number that we have been having at our national events, a little bit more than that. And we actually were in front of 1,600 people, about almost 1,700 people. So we surpassed our goal, and they were really exciting. And so getting ready for those in February and planning what we were going to do going into those schools, I'm going to say was probably one of the highlights for me. In addition to that, we had some really great rank advancements. I'm trying to think of who I interviewed a couple of weeks ago on one of the Zooms. It was Nay. It was actually the wife of one of our A15s. She hit the rank of A10 last month of February in a shorter month. And for me, it was a cool experience to be able to interview someone who, she is a stay-at-home mom. She was prior to ACTIVZ, and she's always kind of helped the family with small little businesses. They would, really kind of do whatever they could to make money. Her husband was a school teacher. Now they're both in ACTIVZ full time. But to see her going from, taking care of now 4 children to also building her business on the side, from her home, and frankly, with her 4 young children, and hitting the rank of A10 in the month of February, where it's short, people are coming they're still kind of waking up into the new year. That was a really great experience to see that somebody like Nay could pull that off and rank advance. And we had a bunch of rank advancements last month. So I'll say that in addition to our active schools, David, for me was seeing people like Nay rank advance to a pretty significant rank, a leader A10 in the company. So that was a lot of fun. Did anything stand out looking backwards over the last few weeks to you?
Well, like you said, the active schools were amazing. It's always fun to get out. There's nothing, I appreciate the technology of Zoom and other platforms that allow us to stay connected during, when it's difficult, whether that's because of the pandemic or distance or whatever. But that said, there's no substitute for actually getting together with people and feeling of each other's energy and lifting each other up. And especially when that group of people is like-minded and all want to accomplish the same things. Now, not everybody goes about it the same way, and that's okay. But styles are not that as important as the overall goal, which is to advance people and help them move forward. And so to be in the state of Chiapas, which borders Guatemala, was quite a change for me, going from basically freezing temperatures and snow in Utah to 98 degrees in Tuxtla Gutierrez. That was a bit of a shock to the system. What was not a shock to the system is that even though I don't speak Spanish, I felt right at home. And I think that wherever we go, when we're among people of the ACTIVZ family, we feel like it is a homecoming. And in fact, I told they told me that in that area, their nickname is, people from that area are called conejos. They're rabbits, and they said we're not sure why that is. Actually, I think there's some derivation from a name of the area somehow that relates. And so I said to them when I was presenting, I said, I told my wife last night that I've changed my name. My name is now Conejo, and a rabbit. Of course, I'm gonna have to change that again when I go to Tampico, when I go to Chihuahua, when I go to El Paso, whenever we go, because frankly, more than that, more than being from a certain city, the thing that binds us all together is the fact that we're all ACTIVZ. And even though we are technically part of different teams. I hope everyone remembers that what we really are is ACTIVZ, and so that we don't get so caught up in
Yeah.
our particular way of doing things that we forget that, hey, there are other people. And it was interesting to me to during the month of February, we've spent a lot of time, as you mentioned, I'll call it sharpening the saw. How do we get better? Part of that is talking more about additional product offerings, new
Yeah.
introductions, because we want to introduce the best and cutting edge scientific products that really do have a meaningful benefit and difference, something people really need. And so because that's a pretty high standard, we don't introduce products every month or every quarter. We do things. But what we are developing, as you know, Ryan, is a reputation amongst scientists and researchers for being a company that takes science seriously. And so we are being approached by people with really amazing technology. And I'm very excited about continuing our research and development of new products that people are going to be able to experience and benefit from during this year. And so that's been a real push of ours also. And so all of these things are just exciting. It makes it
Yeah.
exciting for me to get up in the morning, realize, hey, there's a lot to do, but it's exciting and it's fun work to do, and
Yeah.
really to push things along, just like everybody on this call.
Yeah. Yeah, that is it is something that really differentiates us for sure. And from our inception, I mean, that's what made us different and unique. And I hope everybody on this Zoom understands that that really makes ACTIVZ different. We're backed by renowned scientists, and David, to your point, we continue to attract interested parties, people interested in research opportunities, some really interesting formulators out there, and being on the sort of the bleeding edge of cutting edge science is where we're going to stay, and that will continue to differentiate us. I'm gonna share quickly kind of some things that I'm excited about here around the corner, and it has to do with the business side of our company. Obviously our consumable products make us unique, right? They're one of a kind. We're category creating, and epigenetics specifically is really, it's not the past. It really is very much the future, the present, but mostly the future of wellness. And we're going to be hearing more and more about that. In fact, I'm hearing more about that. And I'll say 5 years ago, I heard nothing about it aside from ourselves. So for all of you listening, you are in the right place at the right time. Now, if you want to carve out your own little piece of market share in this expanding wellness category and run and own and operate your own independent distributor business with us, that's what I want to talk about quickly. And I want to sort of address a question that I've been having a lot of conversations lately with people about. Man, these trips, all of these momentum escape trips, and you've got all these things that people can qualify and go for, and you're announcing, and there's people are running for the next trip even before they've taken the previous trip that they've already qualified for. And I'll say this, that one, I'm going to share sort of some insider baseball with all of you who are watching. So pay special attention to this. Guess who the people are that are growing their businesses? Do you think they're the people who don't qualify or who don't work with their teams to qualify for these trips, or the people who are qualifying for these trips and are working with their teams to qualify? It's the latter, right? The people who are growing their businesses, they're getting their independent distribution franchise to grow, and they're generating more money every single month. Some of them are getting a raise every single month based on what they're doing. I mean, that's fascinating for me because decades in this industry, I have rarely ever seen that happen, but we're seeing it now at ACTIVZ. We have groups of people who literally they're giving themselves a raise every month. I mean, David, you and I don't even get a raise every month. What do you think of that? And the way they're doing it, yeah, maybe we got to rethink this whole thing. I'm kidding. But what they're doing, guys, and this is what I want you to pay attention to, they're just setting goals with their team, right? They're saying, do you want to get to the next trip to the Riviera Maya, the Momentum Escape Deluxe, or do you want to get to the Orlando trip, right? Momentum Escape. Well, here's what you need to do. We're going to spend the next 60 days identifying 5 new business partners, and we're going to teach them how to automate their business through AutoShip, right? And we're going to teach them how to then grow their business by inviting just one person, or in the case of the Momentum Escape Deluxe, 2 business partners. And they're being very systematic and very methodical about it. And they're not just qualifying themselves, they're focusing on helping 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or more other people who are on their team to also get to those trips that we pay for, right? We pay for them to go, and we pay for their significant other, their husband or their wife, or many of our qualifiers, they take, their children with them, or a business partner. And that's really cool to see. So guys, that's the secret. That's how people are getting a raise every month. They're qualifying for those trips. So if ever you're confused and you think, why so many trips? Why does the company want us to constantly be going on these weekend or week-long trips, right, that they're willing to pay for? Well, it's because there is a correlation between qualifying for those trips and making more money and growing your business. David, you and I are interested in people reaching the top, right? We want people to do this on a full-time basis so that we can share, sort of the good news of epigenetic technology with tens of thousands, if not millions of people, right? At some point, that's the number. Those are the numbers that we're getting, that we're running for. Last year alone, we had 53,000 new people join us in ACTIVZ as a distributor. So our footprint is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And guys, if you don't want to be left sort of out of this, or left left out of the action, make sure that you are really setting a goal and taking action to qualify for these. Today's the 15th of the month, and this is the part where I'm gonna really get granular. You've got 2 weeks left, right? Some of you are going to be celebrating, and many people in the world celebrate Holy Week, followed by Easter, which is this month. It's not in April. So that's a great opportunity to get together with friends and family and to let them know what you're doing, right? And conversely to that, there will be people who will be going and traveling on trips. And so there's going to be some distractions, right? So make sure that this month you understand it's the last month to pre-qualify for the Momentum Escape trip that's coming up in this coming summer, right, in July, both the United States and in Mexico. The Momentum Deluxe in Mexico, which is a 5-day, 4 nights, 15th through the 19th of July. And at the end of the month in Orlando, Florida, for those of you who are unable to travel to Mexico. So make sure you have your 5 business partners. You've got 2 weeks to do it. And a word of advice, don't wait until the end of the month because of all the distractions that I'm talking about. I've done this long enough to know that when there's holidays and things like that come up, those distractions are very real. Not necessarily for you, but for the people who you're going to be talking to, right? So today's the 15th of the month. Get it done today. Get it done in the next 3 days, right? We're talking 5 people with a 200 PV enrollment. You can talk to them about AutoShip, and you're going to help them to begin duplicating. But all you have to do this month is just pre-qualify with 5 people. We're going to give you 2 more months, right, to complete the Momentum Escape qualification, and 1 more month if you're going to be running for the US Momentum Escape. So guys, that's the secret. That's how you grow your business. That's how we more than doubled last year. That's how we had a lot of people just like you go from, I was just recently, a couple of weeks ago, with someone who I have a lot of respect for in Juarez, Mexico. I met him. He was an A8 a few months ago, and now he's an A13. And how does he do it? He has a daily plan of action. His team does what he does. It's systematic. They encourage everybody to have their AutoShip within the first 10 days of the month if you're serious about building your business. And they work feverishly to qualify for these Momentum Escape trips. That's the strategy. Okay, so if you want to go from an A8 to an A13, and I think took him 4 or 5 months to do that. It's probably more like 6 months, but nonetheless, pretty fast. Guys, that's the blueprint right there. All right, so that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited to see how you all close this month. It's going to be exciting to have another historic banner month. here at ACTIVZ. And I will just remind you all that we are all at the right place at the right time. Things are really happening. David, I know that you're going to share what you're excited about, but what was also really cool is we're also attracting the attention of some pretty big organizations, like the direct selling news organization you and I were recently interviewed on. So why don't you tell us what you're excited about coming down the pipeline?
Well, that's a good handoff. We were interviewed, as you know, Ryan, because our company is one of just a handful that has shown growth in the industry for 4 consecutive years. They made such a big deal out of it. I didn't really have the heart to tell them that, well, we've actually shown growth every year for 6 years. And because that would have shrunk the pool even further as to companies who are doing that. And the type of growth, it's not just, it's like, well, everybody can grow from a low number. We've been growing from high numbers and from big numbers. And again, that does not happen primarily because of what we do. It happens almost entirely because of what all of you do. You are the ones that are opening your mouths. You are the ones that are overcoming your concerns, your reservations, your shyness, your fear of rejection, all of those things. You're screwing up your courage, and you're going out and you're talking to your neighbors and your friends, and you're taking them at people as you find them. And that's really important. We can sometimes get into a rut in terms of how we talk to people about anything, including ACTIVZ. And we might always say, well, we need to lead with the product, lead with the product. Well, I'll just use this as an example. If you come across someone who's starving to death and you say, well, here, how about having a glass of water? And they say, no, I'm not thirsty. I'm starving. I need some food. And so, so maybe we need to make sure we're offering the right thing, because some people really need to talk more about the business opportunity. What they need in their life, yes, they need better health, but what they need more pressingly is a vehicle to help them and their families get out of financial distress. And financial distress is every bit as real and actually leads to other things like, hunger and poverty and all those type of things. So that's exciting to me. We have people who are doing that. And frankly, don't forget that as you're qualifying for these trips, just as Ryan said, the trips are not the end all be all. They're just an additional help to provide you with a desire and incentive to build your business the right way, to get out there and talk to people. And yes, you'll receive a benefit of being able to go on a great vacation that we pay for, but you'll also be helping these people with that thing that they really need. They need the business opportunity. They need health benefits. They need to be part of a group that will help them grow and develop and reach their goals. And that's the exciting part. You hear that from us a lot, but that's what drives us. And we know that's what drives you too. So keep it up. We'll do whatever we can to continue to help and support you. And we look forward to all of us having a great continuation of March and finish off strong.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, David. And thanks everybody for joining us today. I hope that you enjoyed this. And guys, like I said, we're here. This is the right time. It's the right place. And we hope you all have a happy Easter. We hope those of you who celebrated International Women's Day had I guess it's all month long in Latin America, but happy International Women's Day and month. And look forward to seeing each of you at an upcoming event. Have a great month of March, and we'll see you next month, same time, same place in April. Thank you, David. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, Ryan. See you guys.